Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, another transformation video. So if you'd like to see how I go from this to this, then please keep watching. I'm just going to start by popping on my headband, and also apologies for my lisp. It's from my Invisalign treatment that I just recently started. Start with brows. I'm using my Benefit Brow Contour Pro, which I love. You know guys, I use this pretty much all the time now. So I start by filling in the tail with the darkest shade in the Contour Pro. And I just slowly fill this tail, and as I said, it's got a bit of a funny consistency, but it works really, really nicely. And then I just brush it all through using a spoolie just to distribute the product throughout my brow. For Operation Cleanup, I'm using my NARS Complete Concealer in Almond. This is very well loved, I'm nearly out of it. And I just take this unnamed flat synthetic brush and I just use it to carve out my brows. I really take my time with this and I just really focus on carving out the shape that I'd like. And then I also start blending with the synthetic brush. And I do this to the bottom and the top, and then I do it on both brows. Guys, I'm really sorry. I'm going to be really quite lispy in this video. I'm so sorry. I'm still getting used to wearing these retainers all the time. If you guys don't watch my vlogs, I've just started my Invisalign treatment. So I'm taking my Kiko Eyes 200 brush and I'm using this to blend out that concealer. I like going in with a brush first, just because it really, really helps me blend out and distribute that product to where I want it to go. Taking my Too Faced concealer in Warm Sand, I'm going to use this as a primer for my eyeshadow, and I blend this out using my Sapphire Beauty Blender. Taking my NARS brush, I just use this to set my eyes and my brows, just to make sure there is no like wet product. Stacey Marie MUA palette, I just go in first to this mustard shade. And I take this on my Morphe brush. I pop this into the crease. This is just a nice colour to help all the other colours blend in really nicely together. I'm not using too many colours, but it's really important for that base to be nice and blended. Now I'm taking this chocolate shade on my Zoeva, I believe this is my Zoeva 227, and I just pack that product, focusing it on the outer half of the eye. And then once I've got most of the product from the brush to the eyelid, I start slowly blending it up, and I also tap off any excess as well. When you tap off the excess, it just gives you a bit more control over the product, over where it's going and over how you're blending it out. I initially put the product on with tapping motions, and then as I blend up towards the brow bone, I use small circular motions. Taking this tiny little Luxie brush, I love this for this kind of work, where I just kind of mark out where I'd like the shadow to go from here, and then I also use it to feather out that eyeshadow as well, to give a cat eye effect. Because of the type of eyeliner we're going to be doing today, I wanted to wing out the eyeshadow slightly. And as you saw earlier, I also brought it inside because we are doing a half cut crease. It's just a good guide point. And then taking this orange colour, I just go right ahead and blend out the outside of the eyeshadow. It was looking a bit chalky. My blending with detailer brushes definitely needs work, so I like to go in with fluffier brushes just to help me really, really blend out that colour. I've really been liking using this white one when I'm putting bold colours. When I'm putting bright colours on my lid, I like using this NYX pot because it really just makes the colour pop. And I take a really tiny detailer brush because I do have small eyes. It just gives me control over how I'm carving. Taking that yellow on my tiny Morphe, it's even tinier than a pointed brush, I just go in and apply that colour. I like this tiny brush because again, I can be really controlled with where I want to put it. I wanted this cut crease to be super clean, so that's why I did that. I started fading in that colour, and then I decided that I wanted to take the cut crease out a little bit further, so I go back in with the white shade and just take that cut crease out a little bit further, and then I take my tiny little brush and the brown and I use this to fade the colour in, before then going back in with my yellow colour and fading them in together. You might have to go back and forth on that step, because just to fade the brown into the yellow into the brown, it might be a bit of back and forth in. And I do the same thing on the other eye as well. Taking my Inglot 77 gel liner, I've recently fallen back in love with this, and I just use this to do my wing liner. And with my wing liner, I decided to go for a cat eye effect, so I dragged the eyeliner out as normal and did my normal wing, but then I also go ahead and drag it in, define that inner corner to give me a feline effect. As you can see here, I just slowly, because I don't have a naturally defined inner corner, I have to really slowly take that product and rotate my brush to be able to really give myself that cat eye effect. But I really love how it turned out. It wasn't too exaggerated, but it was like a nice definition. My vitamin E face base from Bobbi Brown, I love this. This is such a bad boy primer. I love using this to prime, it's so good. And I just work it in with my buffer brush from Zoeva and distribute that all over my skin. This is so thick and hydrating as well, it's perfect for the winter. Using my current favourite foundation combination, I take the Too Faced Born This Way and I mix it with the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop. I use the shade Chai in Too Faced and I use the shade Warm Honey in NYX, and I blend that in with my Luxie Flat Top Kabuki. I got mine from ASOS. I absolutely love this for foundation. I think it's so good. It applies it just so flawlessly. For concealer, I'm using my Too Faced concealer, the exact same one I used on my eyelid, except I use it in Butterscotch. Blend that in using my Sapphire Beauty Blender again. I really take my time, especially with the inner corner, because I don't want to disrupt any of the liner. Blend that in, back and forth, all the usual spaces. So underneath the eye, bridge of the nose, forehead. And as always, I go back in with my foundation brush just to make sure the two are blended into each other really nicely. Taking my Huda Easy Bake Powder in Blondie, I just tap the excess into the lid and then spray my sponge with my Smashbox Coconut Priming Water, and I use this to set underneath the eye. My under eye was a little bit dry, so I brush off the excess. I used a bit too much powder this time. I don't usually brush off excess. I felt that my under eye was a bit dry, so I went back in with a Smashbox Priming Water just to give myself a bit more hydration. To contour, I'm using the Makeup Revolution concealer, except I use it in the shade C16. Again, all the usual spots, just above my cheekbone, because when I blend it down it falls into the hollow of my cheekbone. So if you put it on your actual cheekbone, when you blend down it'll fall into the cheekbone hollow and give you a really nice definition. That's a little tip there. I put it on my jawline, temple, all the way up to my forehead, and also on the nose. So that's the difference between contoured and uncontoured, and of course I just do the exact same thing on the other side, and I blend this in with my Morphe M439 brush, which I really love. If you don't want to use a brush to blend out your contour, you can always use a sponge. And then taking my Bare Minerals Bare Pro Performance Wear powder and my Bobbi Brown face brush, I just go ahead and contour. I love this for contour because it's a foundation, it applies so pretty. And then taking my CoverGirl Ebony Queen Collection bronzer, as always, just to bronze up my face. No liquid highlight today, guys. I feel like a different person. To refresh my brows, because as you saw earlier, I decided to set them. I always like setting my brows just because it saves any like halo product over and above it. To refresh it, I use my Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow and my 317 from Zoeva, the brush. Really good brush. To finish off the eyes, I just go back in with my 77 gel liner from Inglot, and I define the waterline and take that also slightly beneath the waterline, because when we go in with this brown shade, it just gives us, because this palette doesn't have black, it's kind of my way of finessing the black under the eye. So I take the gel underneath the eye, and also it just makes that waterline last a little bit longer because I tend to have overactive tear duct. Slightly fluffier brush and just blend that all out. I also use the yellow as a sort of inner corner highlight, and then because I put the yellow on it, it made it a little bit dull, so I went back over with the gel liner just to make the inside corner liner really pop. And I finish off with my chummy lashes from Morphe. Also set my face with the Continuous Setting Mist from Morphe, which I'm actually really liking at the moment. It surprised me. To line my lips, I'm using my MAC Chestnut. This lip combination, by the way, guys, is my favourite lip combo at the moment, my favourite nude lip combo. in the center with Got to Light liquid lipstick from Smashbox. Love, love, love. And if you're a matte lip kind of person, you can definitely leave it like this. I'm just showing you what it looks like as a matte lip option. But if you're like me and you're a gloss girl, I take my NYX Clear Gloss. It looks like it's got colour to it, but that's only because I use it so much. I use my clear gloss over top just melts the two products in together so perfectly. And this is the finished look for you guys. I really hope you enjoyed today's transformation. Please let me know your thoughts below. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.